Hey everyone, GM Jared here for another 10-minute review, and today it's a twofer. We are talking about Spell Hearts and Spell Catalyst from Secrets of Magic that came out a little while ago, but has a lot of really cool stuff in it. So stick around and watch for the intro. Do your thing, Steve! Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. And yeah, we're doing a 10-minute review of two different, how do I explain this? So they add to magic. Best way to put it. Whatever spells you're tossing out there adds to it. And this is really great because a lot of times as a GM, I find myself struggling to figure out what to give to casters, right? It's either a magic wand, some scrolls, and that's really all you get. And Secrets of Magic kind of put out these two new things. One's called Spell Catalyst and one are called Spell Hearts. And why don't we start with Spell Catalyst? If you have Secrets of Magic, it should be about page 168, so you can open up your books and follow along. Basically, Spell Catalyst are consumable material that you add to spells. They take the place of components, and if the spell doesn't already have a material component tagged to it, it gains it when using the Spell Catalyst. But the moment you activate the Spell Catalyst while you're casting the spell, you consume it. It's consumable, so they're like talismans. I believe you can craft them the same way you would craft magical items. So you would need crafting and the ability to cast a spell and the craft magical item feat. I would believe that's how you'd want to follow these. They don't really go into how you would craft them. This is just additional stuff. So they do a lot of really cool things, and they have a wide breadth of how you would use them. So they're not specific in like, oh, this one is for Produce Flame and this one is for Thunderbolt. It's not like that at all. So taking the Fire Starter pellets, we're just going to look at Fire Starter pellets, basically held in one hand, and the activation to use it is you have to cast a spell. So if and then you have to add one action to that spell. Now the cool thing is when you're casting and using the Spell Catalyst, you can draw it as per casting the spell, so you don't have to draw it prior to casting the spell. It's all one action or a part of the spell action, right? So you don't have to waste another. It's not like drawing a weapon, so you don't have to worry about that. Fire Starter pellets. What does it do? Well, basically, when you cast a spell that has fire, obviously it has to deal with fire. So Produce Flame could use this theoretically. They get persistent D6 fire damage. The persistent damage is a 1d6. So what it says is these compact pellets of bat guano, sulfur, and magical accelerants have long been a staple for spellcasters, right? So when you're casting Fireball, this is kind of something that you would have for the material components. Bat guano is apparently one of them. Didn't know that. Now I do. I guess when your caster is going into shops looking for spell components, bat guano might be on that list. Just something to think about. Adding a Fire Starter pellet to a Fireball spell produces a clinging flame. So cast Fireball. Use this as per with the Fireball spell. It creates a clinging flame spell that persists fire damage to all that failed their saving throw. So if the creature or the enemies succeed, it doesn't create a persistent fire damage. And this one does. It's just a D6. So cast Fireball, use this, and more fire damage. More fire. Other ones are, let's say, Dazzling Rosaries, right? This one's of item level 4, and then they have higher level items as per a lot of like these magical ability, magical stuff. This one, 15 gold pieces, so not very expensive. But also you probably wouldn't be getting these early on, but it's for item level 4. So maybe around 3rd level, you could start handing these out. When energy courses through these luminous beads, they go they glow, right? The pew lights. A spiritual weapon empowered with the catalyst flashes with bright light when it critically strikes a target, causing the target to be dazzled until the beginning of your next turn. The type of rosary determines the maximum spell level of spiritual weapon they can use. So this one has 4th level, and then they have a 12th level one. So obviously, when it's 4th level, can be used with spiritual weapon, the 4th level or below. So obviously, they understand like spiritual weapon is an earlier level spell, but you can use it up to 4th level. And then when it critically succeeds, what happens? They get dazzled. So that's pretty powerful. And that one's specific to spiritual weapon. So basically, talismans for spells, right? It's very simple, very easy to use. I like these because you could throw them out there. You could have them in magic shops if you picked up the Grand Bazaar for that just came out. You could add these to the shop list that they have if you're trying to figure out, oh man, they just clear the room. I got a sword, got daggers, I got an arrow, a bolt. What can I give my caster? And you're tired of giving out wands, right? Because they can only really use wands so many times. Some spell scrolls, but maybe not everyone has that. A lot of people have, certain spells, and you could kind of figure out what spells your casters use frequently. And you find one of these spell catalysts and you could give it to them, and it's a single shot use, so it's not terrible, right? Like it's not super powerful. So that's spell catalyst. Very simple, not a lot to do there. It's just talismans for magical spells, specific magic spells. So now jumping over to spell hearts. I really like the name of this. This is a cool name, spell hearts. I like this. So unlike talisman or the spell catalyst, these can be used repeatedly, and they actually have 2 different effects. If you attach it to your weapon, has one effect, and if it attaches to your armor, has a different effect. So each one says different effects, right? So basically, spell hearts are permanent items that work when they're very similar to talisman. So they kind of are using the talisman feature and just fleshing it out, spreading it out. And I like that. Talismans were really cool. I'm a big fan of talismans, as I keep saying. So seeing them use that concept and making more items is really great. So spell hearts, permanent magic items, fixing the spell heart. So like you have to fix a talisman. So I don't know. Maybe if someone went talisman dabbler and had the ability to affix talismans faster, you might allow them to, because normally it takes some time to affix a talisman to a weapon. Same effect, a spell heart, you need to affix to a weapon, so it takes a little time to do. But you affix it to a weapon or armor, and then it does something. So what you'll see in the stat block, right? Super simple. Let's look at Flaming Star. I this one has a really cool picture. Has like a little really cool flame, like orange glowy star, and it's an item level 3. So 3rd level casters, you could start tossing this out. You affix it to an armor or weapon, right? It's evocation, fire, and magic, right? So those are the tags. So obviously you want to give it to someone who can use this of that. A sheen of red crosses the surface of the star-shaped golden stone medallion when the light hits it. So it kind of has like a shimmer to it, like a mother of pearl, right? So have you ever seen that? The affixed armor or weapon is warm to the touch. The spell attack of any roll spell cast by activating this item is +7, and the DC is 17. So it's not too high up there. And the reason why they mention that activation is because spell hearts do 3 things actually. So it's weird. You affix it to an armor, it gives you something. You affix it to a weapon, it gives you something. And then if you activate activation, cast a spell, you can you can cast Produce Flame, and it's a +7 to hit. So you roll, and it's a +7 to hit. So that cast. So it's interesting. I think you might have to. You probably have to be able to cast a spell, but it does mention when you use your own when casting a cantrip from the spell heart, you can use your own spell attack, or the DC, or your spell DC, or the items, whichever is higher. So that kind of leads me to feel like you don't have to be able to cast spells. and this might just give it to you, kind of like arcane tattoos, where you don't really need to cast spells, but you can have an arcane tattoo. So that's really cool. So Flaming Star, if you attach it to armor, you gain fire resistance to the fire. So at level 3, that's pretty powerful, right? Something cast fire, you take 2 off of it. If you attach it to a weapon, after you cast a fire spell by activating the star, so remember, this one gives you produce flame. So you activate the star, you go produce flame, blang, throw fire. When you do that, your strikes with the weapon deal an additional 1d4 fire until the end of your next turn. So that's pretty cool. This would go well with a Magus, right? Obviously, because they can cast spells, and spells, they get the spell strike ability. So then they get that. Fighters could theoretically, this would be good. I mean, it'd be good for anyone. Obviously, you have to understand your action economy here, because you're casting Produce Flame, which is a 2-action thing, and then you have to be able to swing until the end of your next turn. So it really doesn't have to happen right away, because it's the end of your next turn, which is really nice. But yeah, that's spell hearts. Spell hearts are continual items. The frequency for the low level ones are usually, you can keep doing it. So because it's a cantrip, so like Produce Flame, it doesn't have a frequency. You can keep activating Produce Flame. But then they have like the higher level spell heart, which is item level 12. Right, and this one is frequency once per day. You can cast Fireball or Wall of Fire. Those are once per day effects because they are stronger. So but you could keep casting. If you're wearing this, it gives you, plus 10 at higher levels. You get extra damage, D8 instead of the D4 early levels. So this is something really cool. I actually just gave it one of these in my game to our sorcerer, our shadow sorcerer. Gave them the Grim Sandglass, and it was item level 3. Nothing crazy. He now has Chill Touch as a free cantrip, so that's great, especially for your casters. Some casters don't get a lot of cantrips, and cantrips are very good to have because they're infinite. And I believe he affixed it to his dagger. So after you cast so this one's a little different. After they cast a necromancy spell, by activating the Sandglass, the next time they strike with the weapon, very similar, until the end of their next turn, they deal a D4 negative damage, which is cool. Some monsters are immune, but still very cool. Again, these have different levels. This one is item level 3. Most of them start at level 3 and then have kind of like a next level, right? They have a greater and then a major. So 3 different options. So you can keep using these as they go, and they can find more, or maybe they even grow with the player. Okay, you've hit level 8, so now it's a greater Grim Sandglass. Oh, you've hit level 12. Okay, now it's a major Sandglass, and it's gotten stronger with you. So it's something to give the player, and they don't really have to worry about it, and it can grow with the player. And I know a lot of people like that concept of items that grow with the player. So you have your spell catalyst, which are basically spell talismans. Cast a spell specific to that catalyst, and it does a little extra. So remember, apparently we all now know that to cast Fireball, you need bat guano, which is kind of cool, I guess. Something to think about, next time your fighter is going out shopping, you give them your shopping list. Bat guano might be important there. And we have spell hearts, which are like talismans, but better, because they're continual use and they do something cool. So you affix it to a weapon or armor, it gives you a bonus, and then additionally it gives you either a cantrip or a higher level ones, they give you more spells. The greater, you'll be able to cast different higher level spells at about 2nd level, and then at level 12, when you get the grand, it gives you a whole mess of spells. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and yeah, let us know what you think. If you think these are something you're going to be putting in your game, if you're not, whatever. So let us know in the comments down below, and if you want to do me a solid and be really cool and awesome, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. It really goes a long way to help us out here at Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gained. But with all of that said, have a great evening, great day, good afternoon, whatever time of day. Hope it's great for you. Peace.